Hello everybody, welcome back. In today's video we're going to go over how to prepare your mannequin hand for the North Carolina nail practical exam. Now before we begin, if you guys want to stay updated on the latest tips, tricks, designs, or important rules and regulation changes that's going on and happening in our industry, then hit that like and subscribe button down at the bottom of the video to stay notified. Other than that, I hope you enjoy the video and let's begin. Now the mannequin hand that you're going to be using has to be new or at least undamaged and very clean. Do not use a mannequin hand that has been chewed up and been used up already. Now with that being said, all new mannequin hands are going to come with no natural tips on there or natural nail plate. So what we're going to have to do is add a natural nail plate on there for this procedure or for this exam. Now first what we're going to have to do is cleanse the surface of the nail bed of the mannequin. We want to get rid of all the moisture and the oil on there. So what I like to do is use a little bit of acetone in combination with a little bit of alcohol to get rid of any moisture and oil. It's going to dehydrate the surface and it's going to allow a better adhesion when we're applying the acrylic and applying the tip. Now after we're done with the cleansing, what I like to do is use a buffer and remove some of that surface shine so that when I'm applying the adhesive, it's going to give me a better bond than if I were to leave the shine on there. Now after we're done with the buffing, we're going to give this another cleanse to remove any of the dust and debris on there so that it doesn't interfere with the adhesion from the glue. We're going to use alcohol. Now if you want to, you can also use acetone again, that won't be an issue. Next, we're going to apply some tips to her nail bed so that later we can apply the acrylic that would act as her natural nail plate. Now, if you guys have press-on tips, it work great for this section. If not, regular tips will work fine. We're going to cut out the corners and then cut away any edges that's left behind in order to give it a semi-round shape so that it fits snug up against the cuticle line. And this is what we're looking for so that when you're applying the tip on there, it fits snug against the cuticle and there's not too much of a space gap. By doing this, it's going to allow you to apply the acrylic nice and thin and natural on the nail tip later so that you won't have to do too much filing and thus reducing the chance of you damaging the rubber on the mannequin. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply the nail tip to the rest of the fingers. Now obviously if some of the edges bother you and you want it more perfect, then just use a file to fine tune it to your liking. Next I'm going to take out my glue and then I'm going to apply the glue directly onto the nail bed on the mannequin. Be liberal with this part. And then go ahead and apply my tip. Okay, I want to make sure I'm going to press the tip on there, hold it there for a second, and wait until it's fully adhered to the nail bed. And then I'm just going to repeat this step for the next 4 fingers, or for all 5 fingers. So after all 5 fingers have the tips applied onto it, now we're going to cut it down to a natural length. And what that means is just a little bit peeking through above the fingertip. Do not have it too long and do not have it too short. Okay, just have it right above the fingertip. Now once all tips have been cut down to the right size and length, we're going to go ahead and apply the acrylic. Now make sure as you're applying the acrylic to keep the acrylic nice and thin and natural. Do not make it too thick. Remember, we're just creating a nice natural nail plate for the mannequin so that we can file and shape and apply polish and do all our procedures on it. So I'm going to go with a 1 bead application on this because since we're keeping it nice, natural, and thin, and this is a natural length, the 1 bead would work perfectly for this application. Make sure we're always going back and cleaning around the free edge and cleaning around the sidewall. Make sure there's no acrylic flooding the sidewall or flooding the cuticle, and always smooth out the surface. By doing this, it's going to require a lot less filing later. We're going to keep it nice and thin and natural, not overly thick, hardly any acrylic underneath the free edge. If there is a little bit, try and move it out to the side or try and take it out. If it's already hardened too much and you can't take it out using your brush, then we'll just let it dry and then we'll file it away with the file later. Now, because that's a very small amount, it's not going to be too difficult to remove. If there's a lot of acrylic underneath or building up, I would remove the entire nail tip and then start over. Do not leave it, let it cure, and then try and remove it later. You're more likely going to end up damaging the mannequin hand and most likely have to use a new mannequin hand because that one is damaged already. Now, after we're done with the application, we're going to let it rest and let it cure for about 5 to 7 minutes. Afterwards, test it. See if it's cured completely using the back of your brush. If it is, then we're going to go and shape and file the nail plate. Now, make sure as you're filing not to damage the sidewall. Okay, as you notice, I didn't apply too much acrylic and it's not flooding the sidewall. Now it's going to be your choice to do whatever shape you want, but I typically prefer doing a natural square, which means it's going to be square with the corners rounded off. This is going to be the easiest shape to do a sculpture nail, tip application, or even polishing when doing a manicure. Now, because we apply the acrylic nice and thin and smooth, there's no filing whatsoever that we're going to need to do on the surface. All we're going to need to do after we're done with the shaping is a quick buff, and that's it. Now after we're done, then go and take our buffer. We're going to give it a quick buff on the surface, get it nice and smooth. Make sure to check underneath. Make sure to buff away any loose debris underneath there or any straggly bits still hanging on underneath the natural nail. After we're done, we're going to go and cleanse it with some alcohol. And again, if you want to do alcohol and acetone combination, that will be perfectly fine. But for this, I'm just going to use alcohol and make sure we're cleansing underneath the free edge as well too. Make sure this mannequin hand is nice and clean and undamaged when you go take your practical exam. This should be the end result. A nice natural set, not too thick, not too long, not too short, preferably natural square shape. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider hitting the like, subscribe button down at the bottom. You guys have any other questions, just shoot us a message in the comment section below or a message in Instagram or Facebook, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Other than that, thank you and good luck, everybody.